Welcome to Paper Craft Possibilities. This is Susan. Today we're going to be working on a 2-page spread. I'm continuing with my album that is from our Hawaii trip a couple months ago. It's hard to believe it's already been a couple months. Time is flying. I'm going to show you the name of this place we went. It is a temple it's I guess the other side of Honolulu. And I had heard about it, so we just kind of put it on our list to go see. Here I am ringing the big bell they had. To go inside the temple, we were required to take our shoes off. Here is the temple itself. And this is from the temple looking out, away from it, like where you would come in from the entrance. The inside of the temple. And my husband and myself. So I've gone ahead and I've done some pre-thinking on this, and what I know I'm going to use for sure are the Happy Hibiscus stamps and dies. Just makes sense since it's a Hawaiian flower. I think I'm going to use these gems / dots because I have quite a few of them because they were from Celebration. They're called Gold Texture Adhesive Backed Dots. Let's see if I get that back. I don't need to put it back in there because I'll just use it. And then these are new to Stampin' Up! In this catalog. They're called Metallic Textures Rub-ons. And I'm using a lot of gold on these pages. So I thought I would try and use some of these. So we'll see how this goes. I've never done this company's before. I've used other companies. But seeing as how I'm doing a lot of gold, I thought it would be perfect. And they're very inexpensive too. So there is that. And then I've gone ahead and I've cut a few things out already. I have cut this, and I'm sure there is a correct name for this and I am unaware of it, but I just went into my Cricut and looked for Asian gates or arbors. And this is the one that I saw that I liked. But if you have a Cricut, you could go ahead and research that yourself. And then I brought in some papers that we had last year and they've brought back for this year in our annual catalog, which is great because I know they'll always be around this year for the most part. And then one of the papers I'm using is this one right here. And one side you see has the gold and the other side has kind of some white flecks in it. And this is the Regal Distressed patterns. And I'm using this one, and each one of these papers, hard to see here in the video, but they have some foiling on them. So that works well with what I'm doing. And then just some plain white and some plain black. And then I have some foiled paper. I'm going to use some strips from that. So let me show you what I've come up with so far. You know what? Let me run the intro. I'll get this all put out here and I'll be back with you. And we're back. Today we're going to plan on, or at least I'm planning on, doing a few things that I've never done before on this channel. So stay tuned and we'll do that together. So these are, I believe they're 1/4 inch. No, they're 1/2 inch strips. What I wanted to do is lay them down on each side of my page. So it'll be something like that. Let me see if I can strip this out farther. This particular piece is about 3.5. So it'll go something like that. I'm gonna kind of stick those gold pieces underneath. And then the same thing will be true here. And I'll watch my measurements here at the top to make sure that they're both the same. And I think I'm gonna bring in my gate over here like that. And this little guy wants to run away. Then I've got this picture of the temple, and I thought we could put that there. And I'm thinking I want Mr. Buddha over there, my husband and I there. I may want to bring this up higher so I could fit 2 of these pictures here. These are 4x6s. These are, I believe, 2x2s. No, 3x3s. So the name of the temple I thought should kind of go over here. And then Mr. Buddha would be up there. I think I like that, but I always forget that I need to allow room to come in and do my framing or my matting of my pictures. So that would be my next question, is what do I want to do with the pictures for matting? So if I just do black over here, it kind of gets lost. But I do like how that picks up from this and brings it over here. So I think I'm just gonna do single this time. I normally do a double mat, but I like the fact that I like it. It's just simple. It brings this black to this black and they talk to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue all this down and I'll be back with you. I have the die cutting done and I've gone ahead and I have placed all of my stamps on different blocks. And one is your background die or your stamp, pardon me. These I've got stuck together. Hold on. Never had that happen before. Let's see if I can get in there and twist it open. There we go. I think it's because I had washed them off and I probably put them together when they were wet. So one of your stamps in this set is smooth. If you run your hands across it, this little lines that you see are debossed into the die. The one that goes with it is got higher ridges on it. So I'm bringing in my Cherry Cobbler ink. And let's start with the big one first. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the background and I'm just gonna do, so I'm trying to think. This one will be just first generation, so I'm not gonna stamp off on another piece of paper. I like to line these up before I come down and ink it. Okay, so ink that up really well. I've rotated this to where I want it. I'm getting my head in the shot, I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll let that sink in for a minute. And let's see if we can do this one. And I'm gonna, got my ink, fingers in the ink. It's kind of my trademark these days. So I'm gonna rotate this. There we go. So if I rotate this one down like this. So on one of these, I'm gonna do first generation. The second one, I'm going to, this helps if you pick up the right one. I'm gonna do first generation on one and second generation on the other. So here we go on first generation. All right, there's first generation. And you'll notice that it's not right kind of centered, and that's easy to hide when you're layering your stamps. So I'll show you what to do with that. Then we're gonna come in and do second generation. So what that means is I'm inking up, I'm stamping off over on my scrap piece of paper, and then I'm coming in and stamping. And I'm gonna do the same thing to my little guys over here. I'm gonna do a first and a second generation. So let's get this inked up. that's a first. Let's do a second. So then what I'm going to do is make sure that's closed up, number one. And we're gonna put these aside, and I'm gonna come in with my details, making sure I have the right ones. And I'm gonna go ahead, and this is, don't mind this, it's not a worry that there's some red on there. This is a sticky ink called Versamark, and it's clear. And what we're gonna do is I'll bring this one back in, and I'll just show you one of these, and then I'll go off screen and do the rest. So I'm coming in with this and really ink this up well. And I'm gonna line this up as best I can. This is Wow Metallic Gold Rich Pale Regular Embossing Powder. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this on here, and I'm gonna use my reverse tweezers for this because I'm trying to keep my fingers out of it. And I'm not too worried about using my non-static powder on this because I'm okay if some of this powder ends up where it shouldn't go. Okay, I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna set that aside, and you wanna put this away right away. And when I just use a scratch piece of paper or copy paper, it works really well for this. Okay, and I'm gonna put this back on my lid. This is my heat gun. I'll let it heat for a minute. I apologize for the loud noise. Hopefully you can kinda, when it starts turning, you'll see it. And you can see with this, it didn't end up in the exact spots that that it's intended to do, but I don't care. It kind of looks like a watercolor feeling to me, so I'm good with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and do the rest of these, the embossing, and I'll be right back with you. I'm going to come in here and glue up a few of the items that I also did on my Cricut. Here are one of the things I did out of gold foil. Then I took our 1-inch die cut and went ahead and die cut this out. And I am going to glue them on the non-metallic side. So it'll be something like that. And what I like to do is I work on this little mat that we have that doesn't hold the glue, which is nice. What I'm gonna do is flip this over. I'm using one of my sponges, and I'm just gonna come in here and pick up some of the glue. Just a way of getting into those small pieces without getting oozing glue everywhere. Okay, there's another Susan word, oozing. And if I end up with a few areas that aren't sticking, I'll do my other trick is to take a piece of paper and on the very corner of it, in fact, I'll just show you. Put some glue here, just kind of spread it out so there's not so much. And come in here on the side, for instance, on this one, and put some of that glue in there. And that should be, let's get this side a little. So I'll go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, I think the next thing I would like to do is to bring out these rub-ons. And I am told by other people, other demonstrators that have used these, that you don't need to traditionally use like a popsicle stick, or sometimes I'll use my Cricut scraper. You don't need that with this. But what I have learned to do with these previously, I'm looking for my stapler, is I usually staple these together. And there is a backing sheet. And let's see if I can very carefully pull that away. And you don't ever want this backing sheet to come apart from this, because it'll start sticking to other things, including itself. So I want to use this rub-on first. So I'm just cutting it away, including the back that goes with it. And I think I want it to go up in here like this. So let's try it. Just pull it away from there. Maybe I'll go a little bit lower with it. Okay, just rubbing hard rub on here. And I am on my Versa mats, which are these black mats, which have padding on the back of it, which does help. Unfortunately, they're no longer available. There are other things like it out on the market. Okay, I'm just gonna pull up one side of it. I'm sorry, my hands are in the way. Just pull it up carefully just to make sure it has gone down. And look at that! It turned out with no issues at all. Now down here, I'd like to use another one, and I was thinking of these little like texture spots, or I could use this right here. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. I think I might try and use both. So let me cut those out. Now keep in mind, for instance, on this leaf, if you didn't want to use all of that, you can cut part of it off and use it another time. So you can kind of do your own editing. The same thing with these arrows. You can go ahead and cut off however many rows that you want. They could be arrows or hearts. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to bring out my silicone mat again, because I think it might go off the page, which is okay. Let's see what we can do here. Pull off the backing again. Let's see, I might have to do it this way. It's not straight, but I think I'm okay with that. And obviously I'm not going to get all of this on there, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. So it's like my own custom foiling on my page. I think I'm gonna like these. Okay, and they're, again, inexpensive. So what the plan is now, get all my other toys out of the way so you guys can see what's going on here, is I want to put one of my, I know there's a right and a wrong way to turn this, I believe. Hopefully I'm doing it the right way. Someone let me know if I'm not. I'm gonna put this one down in here. And then I'm gonna do a floral design up in this area with everything that we had done before. So let me pull them off of my tray. And the other thing I'm gonna do is bring these in. These are from last year. They're called woven golden leaves. And you could certainly use your own leaves on these, and then do a embossing like I had just done dry embossing. It's not dry embossing. Why is it called? Embossing with the heat gun. It's always when you get on camera, you forget the words, right? You could go ahead and take leaves and you could do some embossing on those, do some gold. But I'm gonna go ahead and use these up because they are in my stash and they are kind of glitzy, if you will. So I'm gonna throw a couple of those down there. And I've got some of these that I stamped with just the cherry cobbler. Some don't have any gold on them at all. So I'm just gonna come in here and try and arrange a couple. This I should tell you too, is I came in and did this by hand, this gold embossing. Why do I keep saying embossing? It doesn't sound right to me. Embossing powder, okay. And I just went in and painted with a refill. Here's the refill of the Versamark. I put some on a, a silicone sheet, and then I took just the bottom of a paintbrush and just dabbed that in there and sprinkled some embossing powder on there and took my heat to it. So there's different ways of doing your embossing powder. So I think I want that one to be the most visible because that is our Hawaiian flower, the hibiscus. Then we can come in, possibly tuck that one underneath. The thing I'm not liking right here is that these are kind of on the same level. So what I might do is bring some of this down, but then we're kind of on the same deal there. I wonder if I should change this out. I might do that and just put no flowers over here and just put some leaves. I think I like that better. What I might do is put the name of the temple up in here. Although it's right here, I think it would be good right there. So let me work on a few things and we'll be back on screen in a minute. I think I've finished. I've done a few things that I should probably explain to you. I came through and put the name of the temple up here like we had kind of discussed. And if I could recommend, one of those must-have dies in your collection, it would be this one. It's called Mini Alphabet. It cuts out all of these alphabet letters at the same time. And the letters that we use more often are in here, like duplicate times. So you don't have to keep re-stamping or die cutting. And I always put my extras in this little bag and then I will keep them in here and I often will use them again. So it's a great time saver and again, not that expensive. And then on the temple sign, let me see if I can hold this up. You can notice there's some little tiny gold sparkles in there. And what that is in this 12 by 12 piece of paper in the collection I mentioned to you at the beginning of the video, this gold foiling runs right across the middle, but on a majority of the paper, on the top and the bottom, there's just little speckles. And that's where I ran the die cutting through. And then I came in and just added some of our, I think they're called the color is wheat gems, and I think they read gold, so they're down in that area. And let me bring this one in. Here I have gone in and I've lifted everything up to make it kind of dimensional, you can see there, and brought in, whoops, I have an extra leaf there. Some leaves that I had from last year, but again, you could die cut anything in some gold foil and put it in there. I just thought it added some texture. And then I've done the same thing here, making sure I have one hibiscus here and a couple hibiscus here, since that is a flower of Hawaii. So there we go. As usual, I will put pictures of the pages at the end of this video. I will also be putting down all of the items that I used down below this video so you can shop from those because there were quite a few today. And then if you want to pop over to my blog, you can see some more details on this whole layout. I'll take some close-up shots and do some more explaining over there. And while you're over there, you might want to take a look at all the stamps and dies that we have that are discounted, and I kind of rotate my stock. And that's papercraftpossibilities.net. Okay, so if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'd love to know where you're listening from and what collection of paper you're the most excited about right now. So until next time, you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.